gold was able to give me a really nice long position this morning off of a broken zone. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how I found that zone. So let's go to our replay system and let's bring it to our 15-minute time frame, because that's where I found that supply area. Now, right now, let's do replay, and let's actually bring it back to... Now, I do my pre-market preps between 8:30 to 9, so we're going to bring our replay mode back to our 8:30 candle. So at this point, this is what I was looking for on gold. I saw that gold on the daily was trying to move higher out of this range. So I came down to my 15-minute time frame, and I saw, okay, well, we had, let's see. Oh, do I have to replay it again? Yeah, I do have to replay it again. Replay select bar, and we'll come to, like I said, the 8:30. So at this point, there were a few things I was looking for, and something I noticed was overnight, we had a 15-minute supply zone. Now, a supply zone is an area where sellers showed an imbalance. So we would get an area where price consolidated, then we would get a strong move lower. Once we get that move lower, what I like to look for is number 2, continuation. This also had continuation. That's great. Now, I also see that pre-market, we came into the supply zone, we rejected it once, we came into it again, we rejected it twice. So I was looking to see if sellers wanted to step in the supply zone. Now, just because this is an area I would consider shorts doesn't mean that I have to be a perma bear. As traders, we have to know not to have a lock-on bias. Once we have a lock-on bias, that's when we start thinking that we have to be right, the market's definitely wrong, and I got to keep taking these trades. I'm in a long, I'm stopped out, I'm in a long again, I'm stopped out, FOMO rolls in, you finally switch your trade, and you just keep getting stopped out. It's not worth it, guys. When it comes to markets, we want to be patient. And the reason I create these pre-market setups is so that I know when price is trading, and I'll delete this zone right here so it's out of the way. We'll keep that zone. This pink level is our opening price. I like to mark out our previous day high, our previous day low, our opening price, and then any supply and demand zones and pre-market highs and lows as well. Now, because this was a supply zone, this also becomes an AOI. That's an area of interest. Now, this is an area around 33.88, 33.90 that sellers were very strong. And I could pull up Bookmap as well to show you guys what I saw on gold. Hopefully it will show us. Let's see. Perfect, perfect. Here we go. So this is when we were in this supply zone. Awesome. Yep. And then there's my entry. Awesome. So check this out, guys. On Bookmap, this is a tool called Bookmap on the left-hand side. This shows us a volume analysis by price versus when we look at candlesticks and the volume on a subgraph, that only tells us volume during that time frame. So when it comes to Bookmap, that's what really gives me an idea of where there's possible strong order flow or weak order flow. Guys, you better be hitting that like button on YouTube. We're dropping some gold nuggets today. So once I saw, the first thing I did see when it came to gold was I saw we had a major seller. We had a few major sellers actually near 33.89 and 33.96. Now those levels fall right in my supply zone. So I saw that we had passive sellers in my supply. And what I do when I am trading is I'll keep my trading view on the right-hand side over here. And I will keep my, my Bookmap on the left-hand side over here so I could sort of gauge them together. I wanted to show you guys the break and retest that I took because it's right here, this 33.88, 33.89 area. So we see that on Bookmap, a lot of red and a lot of orange means there's passive buyers or sellers. Now, if it's above where price is currently trading, these are passive sellers. If it's below, it's passive buyers. So something I noticed was we had a lot of passive sellers sitting in this supply zone, and that's at 33.88. So we'll let price sort of play out a bit. And I saw as soon as we broke, oh, we're on the 15. We're not going to see it on the 15. Entry was on the 5. So we'll come back again one more time. Now, as soon as I saw we had strong buying pressure completely take us through that 33.88 right here, 33.88.9. Strong buyer absorbed it. We broke it. We came back and we retested that 33.89 almost perfectly. And that's where I found my long position on gold. Now, it's not just because it was a support a resistance and now support on Bookmap, but it was also a major key level on my supply and demand. Now, when it comes to my supply and demand, what we had here was we had a break of my supply zone. Now, whenever we have a break of a supply or demand, I like to use it as a flip zone. A flip zone would basically be just that. If it was a supply zone, we break above it. I now want to see it hold as demand. So because we had 33.89, that marks right with my 33.88 key level on the supply zone, I looked for us to pull back. And once we pulled back, I was able to take a nice entry long, very tight stop loss, and I targeted just high a day, a little 3-to-1 risk to reward trade right there. It filled me on this candle right here and popped right to my take profit, and I was in and out of this trade. Huge trade, great trade. It was in a couple gold contracts. I got in here. Again, stop loss was here. First scale out was here. Second was at high of day. Now, of course, I could have held this trade because looking at it now, hindsight always being 2020, we were ripping and volume was starting to pick up. And I also had another supply zone that could have possibly been a target. When it comes to supply and demand, guys, it's so extra helpful because when we're finding our zones, we're finding them on different time frame analysis. When we do that, we're finding the ranges in the market on those different time frames. So when we're able to find those ranges, find those breaks, find those trends, reading the market becomes a lot easier for us.